Well. What is up, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for a SmackDown, Friday Night SmackDown review for the October 25th, 2019. The episode that was on FS1 due to the World Series, and this show fucking blows, man. If I would not be shocked, which I know it's not going to probably happen, but I would not be shocked and surprised or upset or mad if we woke up tomorrow or woke up Sunday or woke up Monday and the news came out that SmackDown has been canceled on Fox because they gave you zero effort on a good show tonight. We had Brock Lesnar, Cain Velasquez, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair. All these names were brought onto this show for one reason and one reason only: to get people to actually spend time, watch this fucking show, and just that's it. That's all they wanted, was for people to watch this show. And this show fucking sucked. Lifeless, Soulless, I don't know who enjoyed this show. This show was for nobody. This show was absolutely horrendous. And quite honestly, I'm not surprised that people are just shitting on this show. This show did not deserve to be on tonight. AEW decided tonight they were going to do something to combat SmackDown, and they took this week's episode of AEW on TNT, replayed it on TNT, but there was a little bit of action that happened after the show before they did the dark match, and they decided to air that footage. So my question is, how many people changed the channel halfway or at all during the beginning of the show? The last time we had Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan on a WWE programming. Not Vince McMahon, but 500,000 people tuned into the show, and as soon as that Miz TV segment was over, 500,000 people tuned out of the show. The rating is going to be really interesting because, first off, this rating is going to not be overanalyzed by anybody, nor should it be. They are on FS1. FS1 has I don't even think it is half of the households that Fox gets. So anybody thinking that they're going to get a massive rating on this show will have a chance to, especially with Game 2 of the World Series Game 3 of the World Series being tonight. There is no reason to think that this show is going to have a huge rating of anything. I honestly don't know who enjoyed this show. This show There's absolutely nothing to highlight in this show. There was nothing good about this show. My dad, who's been just getting back into wrestling because of AEW and wanting to see what SmackDown has to offer, stopped watching this show right before the main event, just simply because this show was terrible. You started off with the Miz TV. The first few matches were less than 7 minutes in total of wrestling. You had, by the way, Kofi Kingston is taking Xavier Woods' place, and Xavier Woods has tore his Achilles and is going to be out for well over a year, so speedy recovery to Xavier Woods. But you had, next week we were getting Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, the Revival, taking on Kofi Kingston and Big E of the New Day for the tag team titles. Why? Because the New Day pinned the tag team champions last week, I believe, in that 8-man tag match. So you have your number one contenders to the tag team champions on this show in a match against Ziggler and Bobby Roode, and you have Ziggler and Bobby Roode win the match in a cheap roll-up fashion. Are you serious? This show just no logic to it. This show had nothing built to it except, like, you have Daniel Bryan, who's looking like he's conflicted on what to do with his life now after the battle with Eric Rowan is over, as he moved to Monday Night Raw. Hasn't done anything yet. And now we wonder, is the Yes Movement back? He pinned Shinsuke Nakamura last week, so is the Yes Movement returned? I can't even. And by the way, Chad Gable they start off the show with Hulk Hogan, Flair, with 2 for Flair and 3 for Hogan, other respective Team Hogan, Team Flair teams, as Raw has 3 and 2 of these 5 men. So you have Roman Reigns, Ali, and Chad Gable with his new gimmick coming out looking like he just got done playing JV basketball. He looked fucking ridiculous. And this guy saying, I've accepted who I am. I'm proud of who I am, really, because being a former Olympian looks like you are just throwing that under the bus, and that had nothing to do. Your wrestling talent is nothing to do with what makes you who you are. But no, let me come out wearing stuff that looks like I'm trying to be a wannabe hip hop artist or a wannabe basketball player. Give me a fucking break. He looked absolutely ridiculous. He looked like a fucking clown. Just put some face paint, just put some clown makeup, green hair, and a nose on him, and there you go. You got the new Chad Gable. This show sucked so much. And of course, we had to have a 6-man tag match to end the show to promote Saudi Arabia. Let's see here. Lacey Evans versus Cameron Connors, which was a squash match. You had Drew Gulak versus Kalisto, which I'm going to get into Drew Gulak here in a minute. You had, let me see here. Yeah, Nikki Cross versus Mandy Rose. All these matches that I just said right here, they had wrestling that was less than 7 minutes. 7 minutes. 7 minutes. So New Day, Robert Roode, of course, were first. Then you had the Lacey Evans, Cameron Connors, which was a fucking stupid fucking segment. It was more of a segment than a match. You had Drew Gulak versus Kalisto, and Nikki Cross versus Mandy Rose. 4 matches right there, all under 7 minutes in total. That's just not good for WWE. After Monday, which was an abomination, Tuesday of NWA Power and AEW Dark on YouTube, and then AEW and NXT on Wednesday, and if you watch one on Thursday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and if you watch the other one on Thursday, all your nights for wrestling. Monday and Friday, you do not need to watch these shows. I'm going to watch these shows just so I can give my reviews on them and be one of those people who actually tells you when something's good. Nothing on this show was good. Well, and then, of course, you had our main event. The only match on this show that had any time was a 6-man tag match with Chad Gable, Ali, Roman Reigns versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Baron Corbin, and Cesaro, who was out there because Sami Zayn can't wrestle because he tweaked his neck on the flight to Kansas City, where they were at tonight. This show was an abomination. This show definitely showed that they did not want to put their best effort in because they knew they weren't going to have the best chance at the biggest audience. They were on FS1. This show had zero build for anything outside of the 2 matches for Crown Jewel. I'm sorry, but this show fucking sucked. We started the show off after the pyro. We come into the ring, and it's Miz TV. Hall of Famer Ric Flair standing with Corbin, Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura, and Sami Zayn, who is not a member of Team Flair at Crown Jewel. He is, of course, he is Shinsuke Nakamura's mouthpiece. He will not be a Crown Jewel because Sami Zayn is not allowed to go to Saudi Arabia because of his heritage. WWE Hall of Famer stands with his team of Captain Roman Reigns, Ali, and Chad Gable. I will never call him that degrading name, by the way. Miz says this is the most prestigious episode of Miz TV and then introduces the Nature Boy and Hulk Hogan. He introduces the teammates from Crown Jewel next and mentions the ones who aren't here tonight because they are on Monday Night Raw. A lot of people were speculating, they were advertising since Monday at least that we were going to have Hogan and Flair on here with their respective teams, and people were speculating that, the drafts are the brand split's already ruined because you're going to have superstars from Raw on SmackDown. Well, that outside of Rey Mysterio, which I'll get into why I believe he gets a pass degree on SmackDown. Well, they won on Raw. They won on SmackDown tonight, which made sense. Hogan addresses Flair and says he's put together the greatest Hulkamania team of all time. So all he has is one question for Flair, and the what you're going to do crap shit, whatever. Flair makes it clear that there's no love lost between he and Hogan. He says now Hogan has the big dog with him. Oh no. And they just keep talking, and they're saying they're talking but not saying much. I can't really talk about this because it's just fucking garbage. Chad Gable with Sammy ends up interrupting and making fun of Chad Gable for his height and saying he'll never be half the man that Nakamura is. Gable fires back about embracing who he is and how important that is these days, and again, keep talking and more stupid shit and crap. It's like literally these guys could just open their mouths and you could see shit just falling out of their mouth. That's all you saw was that this was just shit, crap. So the heel team was challenged to a match. They didn't accept. They left, and Hulk Hogan proposed the main event tonight. Roman Reigns, Chad Gable, and Ali versus Corbin, Nakamura, and Zayn. He even made fun of Sami Zayn by saying the greatest superstar that much, but Sami Zayn. And it was like, really? Sami tweaked his neck on the flight as a result, he is not on the Do Not Touch list tonight. He says there's someone in the back he's close with who has been waiting for an opportunity for months. And he introduces a replacement, and out comes Cesaro, who greets Team Flair and puts in his mouthpiece as he is ready to fight. He heads to the ring, and they fight. Reigns meets him at ringside, and brawl breaks out with the two teams. Gable leaps off the apron to take down Nakamura. Reigns locks Corbin into the barrier. Ollie runs the ropes towards suicide dive on Cesaro. Team Flair returns to the ring to stand. Team Hogan returns to the team to stand tall as Real American starts up. Flair looks on from the bottom of the ramp. We hate Lesnar and Velasquez's face-off. Also, Firefly Funhouse returns. We see the New Day backstage walking as we see Kofi Kingston and Big E holding a tablet with video of Xavier Woods, as of course Xavier Woods is out for over a year, which honestly I'm gonna have to say this now. Xavier Woods being out for the year is going to probably end up seeing the New Day finally broken up. I just could see them totally doing something where we have Big E turns on Kofi, goes on that massive heel run that everybody wanted him to go in when Kofi Kingston was WWE champion. I knew that was going to happen then, but I just don't see the New Day being a two-man act to be able to work. It's a three-man thing. New Day is a three-man act, so maybe next week after the whole Crown Jewel thing is over, they go through that Battle Royal, we will see these guys end up having a heel turn next week in which Big E attacks Kofi Kingston and goes off on his own. I have no idea. The thing about the New Day, people wanting them to turn heel, if anybody wants the New Day to turn, for the New Day to break up, the biggest problem with WWE ever doing that is the fact is the New Day make them a lot of money when it comes to merchandise sales, and I don't think WWE is going to want to let that go. Even though Daniel Bryan also made them a lot of money on merchandise sales until he turned heel last year, and his merch just stopped selling. So we'll have to see what happens. I don't see this New Day thing lasting much longer. Even though I don't know. It just feels like there's something that's going to happen, and they're going to end up breaking the New Day up, and Xavier Woods isn't around for a year. Speaking of New Day, they took on Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. This match lasted about 3 minutes. I'm going to say about 4 minutes. We have a little bit of we have the beginning of the match. We go to commercial break. We come back. Big E launches Ziggler overhead a few times. He hits a belly-to-belly suplex, sends Roode off the apron to the floor. Ziggler goes for a zigzag, but it's blocked. Big E drops Ziggler again and keeps control. Kofi ends up coming in, and Big E launches him out of the ring onto Ziggler. Roode runs in with a spine buster to the Big E. We see a B team backstage watching the match. Kofi decks Roode, but Ziggler takes advantage of the distraction and rolls him up for the 1, 2, 3. So the number one contenders to the SmackDown Live Tag Team, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, who are going to be going for the titles next week, lose in about 4 or 5 minutes to a stinky roll-up. Are you kidding me? Does anyone else see a problem with that? Because that seems like a problem to me. I mean, you have these guys who are supposed to be going off to face the tag team champions next week, and you're going to have them lose like that. Wow. But why did they have this match end so quickly? Well, let's have the Revival run out. They attack the New Day. Roode and Ziggler help them. Heavy Machinery run down to make the save as the brawl continues. Heavy Machinery and the New Day end up clearing the ring and standing tall. We see the Lucha House Party backstage watching as well. I fully expected this to go, well, oh, that's right, we're going to have an 8-man tag match later, but no. They had this match end early so we can have ourselves a little preview to the tag team turmoil next Thursday. It was all trash. We see Cain Velasquez, Rey Mysterio, and his son Dominic backstage talking back to commercial. Now, I knew immediately when we saw Dominic with Cain Velasquez and Rey Mysterio, I knew immediately something was wrong. Like, something was up. They're not going to bring Dominic back to TV for no reason other than for just the hell of it. There's going to be something here, and it's going to be probably bad for Dominic just like it was last time. Back from break, and we get a video package for Tyson Fury's. I don't give a shit. They showed Tyson Fury working the performance center. He's going for a shoulder tackle off the ropes. He bounces off the ropes. Braun Strowman appears, takes a shoulder tackle, and his leg ends up getting injured. Wow. It was awful. Lacey Evans versus Cameron Connors. This was just hot garbage. Lacey Evans comes out as Cameron's in the ring. She's like, listen here, Missy. I don't want to have to deal with you. I'm not going to degrade myself by wrestling you. Ref, ring the bell. I'm going to leave the ring, walk out of here, and that's going to be that. She gets out of the ring. She walks down the steel steps. She starts walking. She walks down the steel steps around towards where the announce table is. But starts walking around, the ref's counting, Cameron's getting excited because she's probably going to win this by count out. Gets back up to the ramp, Cameron turns around, Lacey comes back in at the 9, women's right, 1, 2, 3. That was that. Why? Lacey Evans, who coming out of WrestleMania, wrestled Becky Lynch, or challenged Becky Lynch for the Women's Championship of Monday Night Raw, what was it, 3 times? She's now going up against jobbers. Wow, how pathetic. This is what Lacey Evans should have been doing in the first place. You start doing this, instead of doing that whole, let me walk down, let me walk back, let me walk down, let me walk back, for like 2 goddamn months. She should have been doing this shit. Coming in, being obnoxious, I don't have time for you, I'm gonna get out of here, I want nothing to do with this match. Walks away, looks like the person's gonna win, come back in, women's right, 1, 2, 3. This is what, this should have been her debut months ago, when she was coming up from NXT, instead of doing the walk down, walk up, which WWE and Vince McMahon wanted that to happen and her to do that, so people would boo her and just want her off their television. It didn't work. Nobody cared. Everyone was like, oh, it's Lacey Evans. Let me just check my phone while this music goes off. That's all it came down to be. You would see people, they would show people in the crowd, and you would just see them on their phones. They don't care. They know this is a break. They know this is a break. For people at home, and we know, oh, piss break. Gotta go to the bathroom, piss, come back. Okay. So why they weren't doing this in the first place is beyond me. Cole speaks with number 1 contender to the SmackDown Women's Championship, Nikki Cross. Cross is excited and almost nervous to be here. She's confident about facing Bayley and her opponent tonight, Mandy Rose. I don't like this Nikki Cross. She's too happy. She's too fun-loving. She's too antsy. The Nikki Cross, who was a maniac, maniacal, crazy as hell in NXT, was fucking awesome. I don't like this Nikki Cross. There's just something about her that just doesn't seem right anymore. Then we come back from break. We go to break. We come back, and the announcer shows the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, how his Firefly Funhouse was burned down by Universal Champion Seth Rollins. Bray says he learned Wyatt spent the past few weeks rebuilding the Funhouse, but unfortunately, not everyone made it out of the fire. We get to the Firefly Funhouse, and they're mourning the loss of Rambling Rabbit, who didn't make it out of the fire. They all say not so kind words about Rambling Rabbit. Wyatt says Rabbit's mother said he always wanted to open an open casket. He finds we have a small little box. He opens it up, and there's this charred head with an ear missing. Wyatt never told him much he loved him. Good night, sweet prince, and kisses him on. All of a sudden you hear, and boom, Reverend Rabbit comes back to life. Wyatt says, "Yari Wowie, it worked." Rabbit doesn't know what got back, what want to go back where he came from. Says something about being fired all the time. Wyatt says he's safe here. Mercy the Buzzard starts eating him. Wyatt says, "That's all the time we have for today. See you, Crown Jewel, anyways." I think this was the laziest Firefly Funhouse. I mean, this one just, you kind of broke the mystique of the Firefly Funhouse, because before Seth Rollins went there and burned it down, the Firefly Funhouse felt like it was in the broken mind of Bray Wyatt. It didn't feel like there was anything. It didn't feel. It wasn't real. It felt like it was. It felt like it wasn't a physical place. You had to be dead or something to go there. And then Seth Rollins just shows up, and it's like, oh, it's just a set backstage, and that's it. That kind of hurt the Firefly Funhouse in a major way. Crowd just didn't seem to care either. You didn't hear any reactions or anything to this entire thing. I think WWE has ruined the Firefly Funhouse, and just like they ruin everything else. But are we surprised? No. Drew Gulak is in the ring. He hasn't had an entrance yet. I was like, who's he going to job to tonight? Well, apparently that is Kalisto. And I'm like, whoa. This is a little bit better. The speed of Drew Gulak. We don't have to do the Braun Strowman shit. But, oh my god. 2 weeks ago. 2 fucking weeks ago. Drew Gulak had a fantastic match against Lio Rush to open NXT for the Cruiserweight Championship, dropping that title to Lio Rush. Vince McMahon, who used to run 205 Live when it first got started, could not wait to get this man on SmackDown Live, Friday Night SmackDown or Monday Night Raw, because he wanted this guy to be saddled with the PowerPoint presentation gimmick that he had in the reign of Vince McMahon on 205 Live. When Vince McMahon was running the show until Enzo got fired, Drew Gulak was doing this whole PowerPoint presentation, and he's back for that. This isn't the guy who would sit there and stretch you, put you in a dragon sleeper. I think he's the Philadelphia stretcher. Yeah, that guy's gone. This is not that Drew Gulak. This is the PowerPoint presentation. And he's pissing off Braun Strowman. He gets beat by Kalisto with his Selena Del Sol after Braun Strowman comes out because he tried to show 124 ways that Braun Strowman could lose to Tyson Fury. Kalisto and him have a match for a bit, and then Braun Strowman comes out. Kalisto takes advantage of the distraction, hits him with the SDS, Selena Del Sol, and he gets the win. After the match, Strowman enters the ring and hits a big running power slam on Gulak. Fans chant one more time. Strowman ends up hitting a second power slam, then talks to Mike. Strowman says this is what happens when you disrespect him, but at least Gulak deserves to be in the ring. Unlike you, Tyson Fury. That's why I'm going to send Fury back to where he belongs at Crown Jewel. When he gets these hands, he drops the mics and walks off to the back. So, Vince McMahon is punishing Drew Gulak because of his own failures with 205 Live. Vince McMahon's failures of running 205 Live into the ground so fucking much that even Triple H couldn't fucking save it. So, Drew Gulak deserves better than this. He is too goddamn good to be saddled with shit like this. The PowerPoint presentation shit was a failure back in 2007, 16, 17, and early 18. It is a failure now. This guy put on some great matches against Matt Riddle in NXT, Lio Rush in NXT, Kushida in NXT. Get this guy back to NXT and be part of that brand and the Cruiserweight division. This guy deserves better. Vince McMahon, you are a piece of shit. Daniel Bryan walking backstage is going to have an interview with Michael Cole. Cole comes out, has Bryan come out. He asks him he says you've been accused of some recent injustices and heinous attacks, including Eric Rowan turning his back on him. But the draft is a clean start for some. He brings up the yes chance started last week when he beat the Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura, but Daniel Bryan was reluctant to join in. He asks if the yes movement is back. The yes chant breaks out. Bryan thinks about it for a second, but out comes Nakamura and Sami Zayn. Zayn speaks from the stage and says Nakamura holds no ill feelings for Daniel Bryan pinning him last week. They actually thought it was impressive. Calls Cole's question about the yes movement stupid. Shows us video from last November where Daniel Bryan declared the yes movement dead and said the new Daniel Bryan was here. Sami says that footage breaks his heart a little. As he and Nakamura enter the ring, he says Bryan is too good for these people, but he does have a lot in common with he and Nakamura. He says we're vegan, and the vegan, which is he and Nakamura can relate to, says what connects the three of them even more is they can do in the ring. They are artists. Sami says Bryan's career is at a crossroads and he can go two ways: backwards and revive the yes movement, or move forward and join them. Says they can take Bryan's career to new heights and make the world a better place, make his life better than the fans ever could. Sami asks if Bryan wants to move backwards with the fans or forward with them. Fans of course boo, and Sami offers his hand to shake, but a no chant starts up. Bryan is just sitting there thinking about it. He's looking at the crowd, looking at them, walks in between them, doesn't shake his hand, walks out the ring, out the mat, looks back, and just walks away. So that is Daniel Bryan, the new Daniel Bryan. Is the yes movement going to return? Is Daniel Bryan... I honestly don't think the yes movement needs to return. Daniel Bryan has outgrown the yes movement. Even if he is a babyface, he has outgrown that entire yes movement. I think it's time for him to just be bring his own version of the American Dragon, the WWE version of the American Dragon to light. Don't need the yes movement one bit. I think he is good as he is. Nikki Cross versus Mandy Rose. We had women's champion Bayley at ringside with Sasha Banks. Bayley's voice has changed too. She has taken that. There is no joy in her voice whatsoever. She is clearly just, I don't give a shit about anyone but myself, my best friend, and that is that. Whatever joy she had, she lost when she lost the women's title at Hell in a Cell. She comes back. She just has this demeanor of I'm the big shit and nobody's gonna be able to touch me. None of these girls are better than me. None of these girls are worth my time. They need to prove it to me that they are worth my time, and so far they haven't. While this is going on, Nikki Cross wins with the Purge out of nowhere for the win. This match lasted about maybe 2.5, maybe 3 minutes. Didn't have a commercial break, did it? Nope, no commercial break. So it lasted about 3 minutes. After the match, Cross celebrates as the music hits. Cross taunts Bayley and Banks through the ropes. They stand up and Bayley smirks at her with the title on her shoulder. Back in the break, and Cole talks about the Riyadh season. I really don't give a shit. And out comes Cain Velasquez and Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is on Monday Night Raw as he was drafted there. But the fact that Cain Velasquez doesn't have a brand as of now, and Cain Velasquez is a big name that Fox really knows, I'm pretty sure Fox is going to let this one slide. For the simple fact that Cain Velasquez, Rey Mysterio is Cain Velasquez's mouthpiece. He is Cain Velasquez's mouthpiece, and I'm pretty sure Cain Velasquez is like, well, if Rey's not there, I'm not going to be there. And Fox is like, well, we kind of need you there, so we'll just let this one slide. Gives a shout out to Kansas. Talks about how his son Dominic was attacked 3 weeks ago. Showed him that his son is tough as he comes, and there's no doubt in his mind that he is Mysterio, a Mysterio. Ray says no one can be strong enough to take the type of being WWE Champion Brock Lesnar gave him. That was the worst day of my life because I was helpless and had to watch my own blood suffer. Dominic is doing better little by little, and he knows it's because of everyone's support. He wanted he wanted me to thank all the fans and thank you and everyone else. Says Dominic feels that no one, not even Lesnar, will stop him from living out his dream in the ring. by stepping into this ring one day. Now, about Lesnar, that's a different story. So, for too damn long, Brock Lesnar has done whatever he wanted when he wanted. It's time for Brock to pay for what he did to Dominic. At Crown Jewel, Kane is going to drop him once again and put a skull on the other side of his face. This time, Kane and fans cheer Ray on. Ray calls Lesnar to get into the ring for the face-to-face. By the way, at this time, Dominic is nowhere to be seen, so if you didn't see what was going to happen in a minute, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. They didn't bring Dominic back for no damn reason. Lesnar and Paul Heyman appear on the big screen, and Heyman calls Kane a thug and a hired assassin. Says his client has other things to do tonight than go face-to-face with Kane. Fans boo. Heyman tells them not to boo, and the boos get louder. Heyman asks if we can guess what Lesnar has been doing tonight. Speak Spanish to Lesnar laughs. Heyman asks if you can guess where Lesnar has been instead. Ray just calls into the ring. Heyman asks if they can guess who, if not where, or what. That if you're not going to play my guessing game, then we're just going to have to give you a spoiler instead. And Lesnar just reaches down and picks up, and it's Dominic. Holding him up by his head, Ray and Kane exit the ring and head to the back as Lesnar laughs, and we go to commercial break. Again, I saw that coming. Like, he brought Dominic back. You're not just going to have Dominic back, especially since he's been integrated into WWE like this entire year. You're not just going to have him back on television not to get his ass kicked. If he's not going to be in the ring with Rey Mysterio and Cain Velasquez doing this promo, then what the hell is he doing there? Oh, that's right, he's going to get his ass kicked by Brock Lesnar again. We come back from break, and Rey and Cain Velasquez are in a trainer's room with a trainer who keeps saying, guys, I need space, guys, I need space, guys, I need space, 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 space. Like, we get it. They need to just back off a little bit. Lesnar runs in and attacks Kane with a trash can. He then takes, like, Rey Mysterio jumps on his shoulders. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. Brock F5s him into a wall. Definitely a sturdy wall. Rey Mysterio just got his ass kicked. Dominic's laying on this trainer's table. Brock Lesnar picks up Cain Velasquez, hits an F5 on Cain Velasquez on top of Dominic. All three men are down in pain, and Lesnar walks off. It was what it was. I really don't care. It's kind of sad that Cain Velasquez got signed to a 3-year deal to WWE only to get to lose to Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship, because there's no way Brock Lesnar is losing that title to Cain Velasquez at Saudi Arabia. This was just a way for Brock Lesnar to get his win back from that night in 2009 or 2010, whichever year it was. Roman Reigns, Chad Gable, and Ali versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Baron Corbin, and Cesaro. This match was just bland. It was boring. It was cookie cutter. It was just typical WWE. They had Ric Flair make his entrance, and Shinsuke Nakamura came out. Sami Zayn came out with him. Cesaro's out next, and out comes Baron Corbin. Then we had Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Hart out. Out came Chad Gable. Then came Ali. And then out came Roman Reigns, who was the only person on this entire fucking night, if I'm correct, to get he's the only one to get fireworks, of course. Bobby Roode got steam for his entrance, which I'd never seen him have before, but yeah, there you go. Roman Reigns is the only guy on this night to actually get any type of fireworks. Back from break, and Cain Velasquez is backstage yelling at the camera. He yells some more at Brock Lesnar in Spanish to end the segment. We go to the ring, and the bell rings, and the ball breaks out, and everyone goes to the floor. Again, cookie cutter match. Nothing special here. Ali hits a big 450 for the 1-2-3 on Cesaro. Cesaro, of course, the one guy who isn't in this match going into Crown Jewel, is the one to take the pinfall. Now, with 3 of Team Flair on Monday Night Raw and 2 of Team Hogan on Monday Night Raw, I fully expect them to do this match again, only with those 3, and then we get a mystery partner for Team Hogan. So, I fully expect us to get another preview this coming Monday with Hogan versus Team Hogan versus Team Flair Part 2 before we get to the show. This match is being advertised for Crown Jewel. Why are we getting these matches to preview it. That kind of takes away from even wanting to see the match. I'm not going to watch the show anyway because of, you know, the reasons, but this show just is less and less appealing. Nothing on this show, again, was worth watching. If you don't get FS1 and you didn't go out of your way to, like, go to Watch Wrestling, Watch Wrestling LA, Watch Wrestling 24, or any of these streaming sites to watch SmackDown, and you watched the MLB playoff, the World Series, or you watched the NBA, or you watched any other fucking television show, you probably got more entertainment than I did watching this show tonight. Nope. Or if you watched TNT and watched AEW again and seen what they did after the show went off the air, you probably had a better time than anybody watching SmackDown. This show was terrible. They knew they weren't going to be on network television. They knew this show wasn't going to do well. And they gave you a shit show as it is. This show fucking sucked. SmackDown is getting worse and worse and worse as we get closer, as we go through this Fox era. I just don't see this. I don't see them lasting 5 years on Fox. I just don't. Fox might be in the long run, like long haul for WWE. Oh, the MLB is going on right now. This is going on right now. Hate to tell them, but basketball and hockey are going on all the time now until the playoffs. And then baseball will be back by the time the playoffs are going on. So, SmackDown's not going to get that break that they hope to be able to get those ratings up and then sustain those ratings. You need to put on a good show. This was not a good show. This was never going to be a good show. If you think it was going to be a good show, if you have hope, if you found anything of this show good, you are a WWE apologist who accepts mediocrity. This had to be the worst SmackDown since Jinder Mahal was WWE champion. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club. Go check out the France Plays web channel as I'm putting up my adventures in Destiny 2 New Light as I'm going through most of the strikes that I can because I don't have Shadow Keep or Forsaken. I will be putting up Osiris, the story mode of Osiris, up here really soon. So go check that out, like, share, subscribe, and hit some comments down on that. But until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.